Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to another episode of the White Rose Rivals. Dr. Cox, let's see who turns up for the panel tonight. Exactly, we don't know where they are. They all know, as Hal tells us, it's 6 o'clock every week.
No Hull, breaking news. No Hull City, man.
No Hull City, yeah. They're in hiding, aren't they? They're in hiding. We won't be on. Oh, there we go. Tom's busy and I'm out. There you go. He's just let us know. There you go. I don't know where Ash is. Like Kosi was saying earlier, probably doing some more ironing. And
Matt's
yeah,
an all-you-can-eat buffet with Steve Evans, I reckon.
Definitely. Look, Nigel says, evening, chaps. I'm glad the internationals are finished. I can't be doing with it any longer. Are you glad, Hal, the internationals are now done till March? Happy days?
No, it's great, actually. It gives us a bit of a break as content creators. Oh, woe is me. The world will be crying for us. And I've been enjoying the San Marino story.
What's the Sam? I've not tuned into any to tell me the San Marino story.
Oh, they're Group D, I think it is, in the UEFA Nations League. They've actually finished top of it, above Gibraltar. Wow. And I've got a lot of love for my Gibraltarian friends. I lived in Gib for a year, but I am also pleased to see San Marino get through their group because that's an incredible story. They've won more games in the last month than Man City.
And does that mean they're now promoted?
They're promoted, yeah. And who knows? I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the World Cup, but they're certainly in the conversation.
I mean, for them to get promoted, I don't know who's in Group C or D, whichever one it was, but they will have it very tough, you'd imagine.
They will. But hey, they get better by playing the better teams. You hope.
True.
I can't have international football, but I know so many people total opposite view, a bit like Al, and that England-Ireland game was stirring so many passions on my social media that, I just couldn't get excited for it. I know we won them, we battered them easy, but it's just like, I don't know. I just think it's a bit of marmite in international football.
I only get excited for the tournaments, Kosi. I totally switch off during qualifying because I just expect England to do well. So I'll just check out, and then when the tournament comes around, I get all giddy, You know
what though, Joe? It's like, I know a Welsh guy, and it's like he was buzzing like he did like a toast on his social media that they got promoted to Nations League A, and he meant it wasn't banter. So maybe there's just, I don't know, do we get a bit too blasé? English folk?
I've got a lot of mates that follow England home and away, and they love it. I've watched England home and away. It's not for me anymore, but there was a time when I really got into it, and that's when England were really bad. So it definitely wasn't the quality of the football. It actually was the banter with the group.
That's Saturday I went walking. I mean, I can't believe what was going on. Walking around a country park in Wakefield, but yeah, and then I got home for the big game between Forest Green and York, and it was pretty crap to be fair, but York got beat, and I think what I didn't realise is that when we went down, I thought, okay, League One, that means the only positive is probably we're gonna get
internationals.
With all of them have gone because we've got 3 players in and that as well. So yeah,
look at Lolo de Wednesday has coined ironing wokeness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You iron, you're woke.
Are you sure he's on about the ironing? Because I'll be honest, I shared a clip of Ash on social media, and it got a lot of grief for Ash. And I went on the Blades forum, and he got absolute pelters. And I don't feel bad about it at all. He said what he said. He's got to stand by it. I think he came across really badly, and I called him out on it, and I didn't let up, and I would do it again.
Oh God!
He's got a message
so he got cooked. He got cooked, as they say.
He got cooked. Yeah, he got. Is that what the kids say? Yeah,
it is, mate. It is. That's I'm all up with that.
An awards ceremony. Matt's just posted some.
That's where they are. That's where Ash is as well. Sorry, they're at the Football Content Awards. Both of them actually. They did say.
Work. Can't believe Ash, and he refuses to believe he didn't watch that derby. And I've got to say, I'm with him. I refuse to believe he didn't watch it.
Yeah,
no way.
My mate Lockie, a Leeds fan, watches this, and he was exactly the same. Straight after, when he's lying, he's got to be lying. You can't not watch that game. I think because had they won, he'd have been on here going, no. So surely. Who knows though? Hal, let's talk now because now Sunderland have 3. I know this isn't a Sunderland show, but Sunderland have 3 very tough games in the next 3. They play West Brom, they play Millwall, and they play you as well. They do play you the third of that. And as a Leeds fan, I'm looking at that going, oh, this is an opportunity to get in that top 2. You're away at Coventry, though. To be honest, I think both we have the favourable fixture. We've got Swansea away, Sunderland are away at Millwall, and you're away at Cov. Do you think... I did a video the other day looking at the running up to Christmas, and I had us two basically on joint points in the top 2 with Sunderland like 3 or 4 back. Are you excited about this running up to Christmas now?
It's tough, mate. It's horrible. You have this break, don't you? And everyone gets to recuperate and rest. And then it's Saturday, Tuesday, Friday for us. Ridiculous. No downtime. When do you even train? When do you get the lads on the pitch to talk tactics if you want to change things up? We've now got a huge concern over Oliver Arblaster, possibly our best player. There's all sorts of rumours. No one's coming out and saying how serious his injury is. He got injured in the Steel City derby. I don't want to speculate because I just want him to be
Barry
well.
Bannon when he smashed him?
Yeah, and he's in a bad way, apparently. I hope it's not true. I hope he's absolutely fine. But let's say, worst case scenario, he's out for the rest of the season. That would be enormous. That changes the whole complexion. And then suddenly you're concentrating on Leeds and you're not going to be worried about the chasing pack, because I reckon Leeds could just go for it and finish top. And it'll be a case of probably going down to the teams that are scrapping between 4th, 3rd and 2nd, and then maybe a sort of late finish, someone has a little run. Whereas I think if Ollie Arblaster is fully fit, I think it could be Leeds and Sheffield United almost all the way, neck and neck, and 3rd will drift off. And I sort of agree with you what you said about Sunderland. So I'm excited, but only if Ollie's all right. I really think he's that key. He's that integral. And we all know about a player that's that crucial to your side, and he is that one.
Yeah. That's where Leeds United are quite lucky. It's crazy the depth we've got in centre midfield. We've got Gruev and Ampadu who both out, and we're still doing all right with Rothwell and Tanaka. I mean, Tanaka's been a bit of a revelation, to be honest, picked up in the German 2nd division. We brought in Gulavogi on a free. Maybe that's something Sheffield United might have a look at. We looked at Kouyaté. We looked at, not Capu. Who was the one that was at Arsenal and then went to play over in Valencia? Began with a C. Forget his name. But yeah, there are still free agents. Kamar Roof's knocking about as well. Kosi, Kamar Roof, could he do a job in League One for Huddersfield?
Yeah, where's he been for the last few years, Joe?
He was at Rangers, weren't he? And then he went to play. He did from Rangers. He went to go play with the company over at what was his Belgian team before Burnley? Anderlecht. Yeah, he went to Anderlecht
this year, Joe.
No, he hasn't got a club now at the minute. No,
we signed a guy, Freddie Ladapo. He got Ipswich up a few years ago, mate, and he's just nowhere near, and out of contract. I couldn't believe we signed him. Red flag written all over his name. It's been a disaster. Don't look interested. Don't look right. And I'm always, again, there's probably exceptions to the rule. People can bring, kind of out of contract players, but I'm just thinking when a guy because he's got a decent record, to be fair to the guy, when he hasn't got a fixed up, I always think, and so it's proven. But yeah, just want to ask you two something. I read an article today about, I think in the Championship, it's the fourth, for 4 years, it's the lowest amount of goals that there's ever been in the Championship so far this season. And as usual, I think it must be because it's off international break, people coming up with some wild stories. And then we're kind of looking into it. Why is that? And they were mentioning like Burnley, Sheffield United have kind of started slow and stuff. But I don't know if you two guys have got any theories on why there's not as many goals this season. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about Fark and be happy with 2-0 and maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, I would say that the better teams are that much better that the other teams are very defensive in them games and just try and nullify the opposition as opposed to just going out and imposing their will on the game. Hal, I don't know how you feel. That's what it's been like for Leeds since Farker come in. And it is because we're far superior than a lot of the players. Yeah, but I mean, I genuinely think this league this year is not great.
Leicester and Ipswich were just goals. If you watch their game, goals, man. I thought Sunderland to a certain extent early on in the season, but it's like when you watch Sheffield United, even Leeds to a certain extent now, I just think 2's enough where others are getting 3, 4, 5. But I don't know, it might just be some weird season, really, maybe.
Any thoughts, Hal?
It's this woke football nonsense, isn't it? This passing about, Pep's rubbish football. We're trying to score the perfect goal. No, I'm joking, obviously. I do actually think that we don't have strikers like we used to. And when I was growing up, there were so many quality strikers that England could afford to leave out Robbie Fowler and Andy Cole and Les Ferdinand and Teddy Sheringham. There were just so many good strikers.
People can't be Spain played with a false nine. They didn't have a striker in their nationals this week. It's been incredible, mate.
Strikers. I do think it's like you've got freaks like Haaland, and then you've got the rest.
Yeah.
And, strikers are adapting now, and they're playing in a variety of different positions. There was a time when Raheem Sterling was considered an out-and-out striker, and then there's people that would say, well, he's a winger, and he's just a forward. And in the old days, it wasn't like that. You had your wingers, you had your strikers, and the two shall never meet. But now you've got strikers that move around and can flit about the front line, and you don't have what you consider like a fox in the box with too many clubs. And Sheffield United have been one of those clubs, and we don't have a bagsman at all. Anyone we can rely on. Our top scorer is Gus Harmer, a midfielder, and I think that says it all.
Yeah, I did my Swansea preview earlier on, and they're the lowest scorers in the division, and their top scorer's got 2, and that's their striker, and they're 11th in the table, though. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and I just think overall, Kosi, the standard of the division this year is not comparable. I mean, even when I always use this as sort of like a measuring stick. I remember when we had Newcastle and Wolves down there, but I do think that season when Leeds, Sheffield United, Derby, Brentford, and you look at the players that were actually at them football clubs now, they're all bossing it, like Ollie Watkins and, all these other players. I think that level there was, it's hard to get. Even look at Fulham and Mitrovic. I mean, he was an absolute monster, wasn't he? You don't get that anymore either. So,
and even Iliman Ndiaye, who we've lost, he's doing really well at Everton. You ask Toffees fans about him, they'll tell you how well he's adapted to the Premier League, but not an out-and-out goal scorer. And it's been a long time, actually. I'm just talking for Sheffield United, since we've had an out-and-out consistent goal scorer. And even when we finished 9th in the Prem, we only scored a few goals. We only let in a few goals, and that was I think we only scored 38, something like that. I had to look that up.
Well, that was... Go on, Kosi.
Sorry, to move on. I'm going to get it off my chest. It's really doing my head in, but I saw an interesting interview last night with Sheffield Wednesday kind of supporters guy, and basically their next 6 games are something like half-12s and moved at all of other shops. There's one on a Sunday, and it's like, I'm getting fed up now with this Sky stuff. We've had some stuff shifted to half-12, and I just don't think some of the stuff just makes no sense. This weekend, you've got Cardiff travelling to Sheffield for an half-12 kickoff. Nonsense, mate. Bristol
we play Sunday at 3:00.
Yeah,
we play Saturday at 12:30. So I'm with you. It's nonsense.
And then arrange the games closer. It's like Bristol City and Burnley. That's just rubbish. And even going out of League Two, Costa and Grimsby. It's like, I know, like not many go, but I think it's wrong. Okay, I can kind of get these half-12 kickoffs trying to get more people on. And to be fair, when you go in the booze and you see 3 or 4 different games, it's quite, this is all right. But I just think, just choose. I mean, the moves our game at Blackpool to half-12, I've no problems with that. It's a short journey. Bolton at home, 12:30. But some of these longer ones, I just think it's bang out of order. And Swansea have had a few, haven't they, on a Sunday? I don't know. What's the reason for that, Joe?
It could be Cardiff.
And our Swansea, it could be Cardiff. Our Swansea games are all, I've mentioned this before, we always seem to play Swansea midweek, 8 p.m. kickoff, miles apart. Not fair, not right. And I would like more notice, although I would say, now I live in Cyprus. Yesterday, the game that I was going to on Saturday, got moved to Sunday. That has caused me all sorts of problems. So they are still better than they are in Cyprus.
Do you know what, though? And you have to give, I guess, a little bit of because they have started doing this now, where they let you know months in advance, don't they? So they just announced the fixtures for January that are changing or something like that. I swear they give you.
I know what Ali's saying and you're saying, Joe, but for me, it's just some of the local games at half-12 and stuff. I hate half-12. Maybe I've just got an anti-half-12 attitude. I've always hated.
You sound like Jurgen Klopp, mate.
Yeah, you remember this?
I don't think Jurgen Klopp's reason was he couldn't spend as much time in the boozer, though.
No, fair. But that guy used to moan all the time, didn't he?
No, I know what they're saying, but it's just like, basically, the question on this thing I was watching with Radio Sheffield last night is there any point getting a season card now? Like with the stuff that's getting moved. And again, another sport, but Rugby brought the fixtures out today, and like Leeds have got like 6 games that are on Saturday and Sunday, and it's Thursday, Friday, because they've got this new TV deal. So basically, they want to kind of show as many games as they can. Sky, which you can't blame them, because
it's less about the match going fan, is it? It's all about consumer, and
they don't need the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't need the match going fan, and COVID proved that. Yes. And the more they don't care if we complain because it's not about the money comes elsewhere.
It could have been a lot worse as well. Do you remember when they tried to charge us like $14.99 to watch West Brom versus someone, and we all kicked off?
No.
Removed
it all kicked off with Sheffield United's game. It was Fulham versus Sheffield United.
Is that what it was?
$9.99, and I paid it. And the reason I got a lot of grief. The reason I paid it is we were doing watch-alongs.
Of course, you need it, don't you?
Joe, but it's just Germany, right? They tried to move a Monday game in the Bundesliga about 2-3 years ago, and they had it for one season, and everyone booted off. Didn't come to the game, protested, and it got moved, mate, on the back of fan power. The only time I've ever seen fan power kick in England recent times is just like European Super League. We just sit.
Really good point, Kosi. And actually, having lived in I've lived in 7 different countries in Europe. Protests and kicking off, as you call it, and I like that. They're so much better at it in like France and in
France
Germany
are the
and in
one.
Greece.
France
are the best, and they actually get change affected. And politicians and leaders listen. And it's the British way. It's like when you're in a restaurant and you go, "Oh, I'm not happy with this meal," but I won't say anything.
No, exactly.
It kind of is just the way that we are. We're much more reserved.
And when people do, my brothers
stuff. I wonder why that boiled everyone's piss. Pardon my French, but moving 6 or 7 games a year, like to 12:30s or whatever. Because I'm not going to be violent out for Leeds, but like Joe, you're the patron saint. Your club are getting everything shifted, everything. But it's almost like because obviously it's like kind of waiting lists. So it's like, well, if you don't come, then someone else will come and else. But
but I hate that logic. Like it pisses because what makes me laugh when people make these comments and they go like, "Well, at least people get tickets and that now." And then this week, this season we've had games gone general sale and that. It's just people bullshitting, flapping the gums on social media after the time, to be honest. But yeah.
I'm glad I've got it off my chest, but I just thought I'd find it hard to bet Cardiff. They seem to get a lot of early ones. I know, obviously, no love lost between Cardiff and Leeds, but it's just like, how many's going to travel to Hillsborough on Saturday? There'll be hardly any, mate. It'll be like 100 and look crap. And I just think empty seats in a football ground, people aren't doing the job right, Joe. And this day and age when everyone's skint and stuff, people got to do more. But what time I set from Cardiff? 5 or something. It's just like, it ain't going to happen, is it? So. Anyway, rant over, man.
Yeah, man. I hear. Cappy said, does he always... Who are we talking about here?
Let's talk about Kosi, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, it's on my... it's
in between his toes.
I've got a rugged arm, mate. It's cold. I just put central heating on.
Yeah, I've had it on all day. I don't care. It's too cold out there, man. It is too cold.
Mate, I'm in a T-shirt.
Joe's been a bad day.
To the gun show.
I've been to the dentist, right? And I've been to a hygienist. And she's kicked off. She shouting at me like she's a teacher. So I've got electric toothbrush on order now because it's like, when they do it and they say, "Hey, it's got blood here," and this, it would carnage. And I'm sat there with my goggles thinking, bloody hell, it's not looking good. I've got a floss. I've got to have electric toothbrush. Do you know
why are we hearing this?
I have an electric one, yeah.
Stop saying words.
How do you use them, though, Joe? Do you put it on your toothbrush?
What do you mean, how do you use an electric toothbrush?
You don't put it... She was telling me how to use it. It looks complicated, mate.
What? To use an electric toothbrush?
No, you don't move it, do you, like a brush? You just keep
you just put it on, mate, and it'll do the work for you. It's the 21st century, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Come into Curry's, mate. Curry's birthday. I'm picking it up tomorrow, so God help me. Up the electric toothbrush. ET, man.
I can't believe you just said, "How do you use it?"
Yeah. And with the ET, Kosi, you could actually have phoned home and asked someone how to use an electric toothbrush rather than discuss it on this particular forum. Although it's fascinating.
Yeah, but Joe uses it now, so I know I can go to him, mate, for a confidential advice on an electric toothbrush, man.
I'll hook you up, mate. I'll hook you up. Getting things off the chest, then I want to talk about Frank Lampard and him coming back into management. I can't stand the man, to be honest. Not his biggest fan, and I don't think I've ever known a manager or a manager be able to fail upwards as much as this guy. This guy took Derby from 6th to 6th with, players the likes of Champions League winner Mason Mount and AC Milan centre-back Tomori and Harry Wilson in the Prem and still didn't manage to get the job done. He then went to Chelsea and all this fawning over him because he had this transfer ban and oh my God, what a guy. And he brought from all the youth and all this BS. It was bullshit. Chelsea had a good side. He then was sacked, obviously, and has somehow, I mean, from everything I read, it's almost like the owners at Coventry are mates with Harry Redknapp, so they've gone, yeah, we'll give it Frank. That's what I seem to read, because there's a much better candidate there in Ruud van Nistelrooy. I actually think Coventry are a good side. I do feel sorry for Matt Robbins, but maybe it was just his time was up. But they could have got someone half decent, and I don't think Frank is that. I was genuinely worried that they were going to give him the England job when he kept sniffing around St. George's Park, to be honest. I just think he speaks really well. I agree. Whenever I see him on doing comms or in the studio, he speaks really well.
And that must mean, Joe, that he interviews really well.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's horses for courses. That's not a Ruud van Nistelrooy joke, but Ruud was the other one in the frame, wasn't it? And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, I think every neutral would have said, well, Ruud will get it. But we've probably just hit the nail on the head. I reckon Frank is, they probably think, right, well, we've got to talk to Frank. It's Frank Lampard. We'll get this out of the way and then we'll give it Ruud. And then I think Frank walks in, he has a brilliant presentation ready. He speaks so well, and he'll have all sorts of excuses as to why he didn't quite work. And he'll have them all ready before they've even asked a question. And they'll go, oh, okay, so I can see how that could have happened. And, oh, yes, well, you did have a lot of injuries at Derby. And, do you know what? I reckon different circumstances. Oh, and you had this player promised and it fell away. Okay, I understand. And I think they'll genuinely go, right, he just is one big promotion away from it all clicking. And actually, there was a time at Derby when it did look good. And that's why he got the Chelsea job. And I thought it was too soon. I said it was too soon on our channel. Thankfully, that's been recorded. And it was clearly too soon. He needed another 2-3 seasons in the Championship, and he would have got them if he'd carried on managing Derby, because he wasn't going to get them out. Tough time.
Wayne Rooney's the same, though, isn't it? Wayne Rooney's the same.
I mean, he shouldn't have got the Birmingham job. That's on the owners, but he's at Plymouth now. I think Coventry are a club that could still push for top 6, potentially move to the Premier League. I don't know what Frank's done in his short tenure as a manager to warrant that job. I genuinely don't.
No, it's not as a manager, is it? And this is the thing. There'll be people out there who never played professional football that might be brilliant football managers and know the game and have the coaching badges, but they didn't win that many caps for England. So you don't even get your foot in the door to even have a conversation. But his reputation alone and his contacts in the game will be the reason that he gets these interviews. And is it right?
No,
probably not. He might do really well. He might surprise us all, and he might turn Coventry around, because they are not looking good. I think it's terrible timing. We're playing Coventry on Saturday, 12:30. I do think it's awful timing. I would have loved it under Matt Robbins, who I do rate as a manager, but I think for some reason, you alluded to it, Joe, maybe the time for him to leave was right. But I would rather have played them under Robbins when they were in a bit of a tailspin. Yeah. And, they had a draw against Sunderland. They lost to Derby County at home. That's the Cov I want to play, not the new manager bounce Cov.
Do you worry that they will get a new? Because I looked at it and thought, I'm not sure it'll hit until he's through the door. So you might.
But he'll be watching. Right. He'll be watching. You know what footballers are like. Even if they just get a sniff of new managers new managers watching it on telly, or new managers in the ground, whatever it is, footballers they turn it on. And, the local club where I live here, they sacked their manager on Saturday because the football's carried on here. They got hammered by the worst team in the league, 4-1. A team last time they played and they beat them 7-0. Not just the manager's gone, all the coaching staff. And we're so early on in the season, and it's new manager this season. And it's ruthless here in Cyprus. Jason Punchin has just left Iron Appa after two games. and that is just the way that it is. And that's not unusual. Mauro Camoranesi has just gone as well after he was forced.
Don't mention him. Jesus,
Camoranesi was forced to play a couple of players that apparently weren't good enough. And I don't want to get into anything I could get libelous, but apparently friends of certain people. And he was like, no, they're not good enough. I'll walk if you force me to play them. And that sort of stuff isn't unusual here. So I think we've got to take all these things in the UK with a pinch of salt, because it's a lot worse elsewhere.
I'll tell you what were awkward. He came back to get an honorary degree, did Roberts, didn't he, to Coventry, at City Coventry, and then the club kind of tweeted it out. Congratulations, Mark, we're thrilled for you. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, you was fired a week before. I'll be like, get off my
Get in the bin.
Yeah, as well. But yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy walks into a bar and the barman says, "Why the long face?" You get that? Yeah. There we go.
Mean.
1-0, mate. But you know what? His reputation from what he did at United, I know we were only there a short time, but it's kind of in stock. So,
but he was doing well over in Holland before that. Was it Feyenoord he was at? Is that where he was? And he was doing well there.
I you heard him talk, mate, on the game and that as well. But it just seems Lampard's name's on it, and
crazy.
I just don't get it. Surely, if he balls us this up, then there's no way back, is there?
I didn't think there were a way back anyway, but hey ho, it is what it is.
It was PSV Eindhoven.
Was it PSV? Sorry.
Came back to me via Google.
What about Man City losing 4 games in a row? Bloody hell. What is going on, man?
He's got... There's been a lot of talk this week, like, as I've listened to a bit on Pep, and them trying to say that that's maybe why City weren't playing as well. Do we believe that? Like,
Rodri, mate. Just Rodri.
Yeah, Rodri. Surely they're not going on the pitch thinking, "Oh, Pep might not be in next year." I don't believe that.
It's another year extension, hasn't it? So now,
wait and see what happens with these 115 charges. You know, because he's actually said that he's been informed, hasn't he, by the hierarchy that they've done nothing wrong. Because if he believed they had done something wrong, he would have walked. Those are his words. Now, if they get found guilty, you have to see if he's a man that's going to stick by his convictions and walk.
What would you like to see happen with them if they get a lot of charges, Hal?
Right, you have to lay down a law here and let other clubs know that this cannot stand. You have to be really firm. You have to make a massive example out of them. I don't think that will happen, but it should do. I mean, we saw what happened to a few other clubs. Maybe not necessarily. I mean, in Italy, they've got very strict rules.
Juve got relegated, didn't they? They went right to
Fiorentina and look at Rangers as well with what happened to them. There's examples throughout football. Bordeaux in France as well, and I think you do have to go that heavy. I think you have to relegate them, but it's not fair either. Right? If they were just thrown into League Two, that's not fair on a team in the National League that then would miss out on promotion. So you've really got to go right down to like the NZ League Division 9, and you know they have to start all over again. And I think a lot of the players would leave, and it would be wonderful.
It would be
interesting, and it's like Premier League show now. But Arne Slot, I thought, right, when he took over, mate, you've got no chance here. You're following a legend. You kind of your teams at some bad ages. Salah maybe has had his better days. How wrong can you be? I know it's only early, but wow, how impressive have they been, man?
Steady on, Kosi, because we saw that with Postecoglou at Tottenham, the way he started, and I think give it a couple of seasons.
You don't think they're in with a shot at the league title this?
Oh no, they are because it is early doors. I think we just got to wait and see, because other teams are falling away in a way that's never happened before. City have not lost 4 on the bounce before. I know they've won 4 titles on the bounce, but the 4 defeats, it just hasn't happened. There's all sorts going off behind the scenes with City, so this is an unusual time. Liverpool have a quality squad. Of course, they're going to be up there, but when the going gets tough, let's see. I'm sure he'll be great, but I'm not ready to say he's going to be a new legend.
Here's a quick question while we're just chatting. Premier League, if Liverpool finish ahead of Arsenal, don't have to win the league, but let's say City win the league still and Liverpool finish in second and Arsenal third. Do you think Arteta warrants the boot at that point? With it being like 5 years and no,
they still don't have a squad that's as good as the other 2 you've just mentioned. So he's not a miracle worker. I think he's doing very well. Also, This is a lot of Premier League chat for someone who doesn't watch the Premier League.
This is fair. Let's talk League One, Kosi. We've not spoke League One yet. Give us the lowdown on everything League One, my man.
Well, we've got a tricky game on Saturday because we've got Charlton and Nathan Jones. So a bit of previous one, he went to play off at Luton and we beat him and they were very salty at the end and there were a bit of aggro and what have you. But obviously, he got the boo. Edwards came in. I was going to mention Luton actually, but I'll come back to them. And then obviously he's gone to Charlton. That's well, but they're 13th and they're having a really weird up and down season. But I always think of Charlton. To me, they've had so many owners, so many managers. But it's a huge club though. When you go there, you think Jesus. And obviously you're going to mention Kirby State here and they're finishing 8th and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think that's a tricky game for Town on Saturday. And I'm just, like I said last week, I'm just kind of not convinced at the moment. I think we've got 8 games between now and New Year, so it's huge. We've played 16 so far, so basically, kind of got half of our games kind of sandwiched in for the next month and a little bit. So they were saying today at the press conference, some of the players are so boring now. They don't give you anything. So like David Kazuma was on like crunch time, David, before Christmas, and we took each game as it comes. It's like Jesus, mate, all that, but
it's a bit of personality.
Yeah, I'll tell you some convincing stuff, but yeah, that'll be a tricky game on Saturday because you know what Nathan Jones' team's like. They just come and they will not lie down, and and talk of some snow knocking about Saturday, isn't there? So that could be fun about in the afternoon as well. So I hope that comes. It always the orange ball might be out, but yeah, no, it's. I just think I hate that mentality monsters that Klopp says, but I just don't know if our squad's got it, Joe. And I think we're going to go in for Joe Taylor at Luton. I think sounds like to me that he's not really getting on a bench now. It's really weird what's happening at Luton. But yeah, but a striker, maybe in the new year could kind of get us up there. But yeah, funny division, mate. Look at last year. I'll never forget, like Stockport. I think it was Stockport 0, Wycombe 5, and then Stockport 5, Bolton 0, like 4 days later. Then last week, I think Barnsley only drew with Cambridge. Wrexham lost at Stockport. Obviously, Stockport are having a bit of revival. But don't you think it's good though? Like in a world that's like it's very predictable, you've got kind of a weird kind of League One really, and that as well, which is unpredictable. But yeah, Huddersfield need to kind of get going, and they've got a game on Tuesday at Leyton Orient, so it's like we need to start winning some games, Joe, and kind of just to prove to everyone. But they were mentioning today that they've had people in like this week, like the team, and they're talking about mindset, and it sounds like they had a mindset coach, something like that. Says we're not. He's very honest, Michael. Do we were like say we just haven't been good enough, and it's just like
pure woke nonsense. What's it all turning into?
Mate. Get some cups thrown at them and a boot. What did Ferguson throw Beckham with a boot on it? So
Hairdryer won it.
Yeah, Pizza Gate, wasn't there, and all that stuff. Yeah, so they all approve, but I don't feel like I'm watching a promotion season, Joe. But obviously, time will tell, and we're looking in that division, and not been many games where I've just, we've kind of put a mark down. But yeah, the trouble is you go to every game thinking we should win, and Chatham won't be easy. But yeah, I'm expecting a win on Saturday. But going back to Championship, Luton and all, to me that's the game where someone gets sacked, whoever loses. I feel that he's that bit. I think
could be
walk the plank, mate. After that, and I don't know what a draw would mean, but I can't believe Tim Walton's still here. But it sounds too much wrong. And Rob Edwards, I thought Luton would do really well this year, mate. And
so did I.
It's odd. But you've got, who is it? What's his name up front? Who's been around a bit and that as well. He's all of a sudden just getting straight. Oh, God, I've got it. The great research. But let's get his name up.
Carlton Morris. Carlton Morris?
No, Victor Moses.
Oh, Victor Moses, yeah. I watched him the other day against, I think I switched over to Borough, and I couldn't believe it that he was playing at Luton.
Yeah. No, 33 years old, mate. But yeah, just they should be doing a lot better. But I sometimes think, I don't know, maybe they thought, because they've got a new stadium coming, that'll change them all that as well. So, but obviously they don't want to go down, and they're in a bit of a pickle at the moment. But
it happens sometimes. Do you remember Stoke? Stoke, they bombed that season.
Sunderland. When they played you and you beat them, it showed that video when that Rob Edwards came to the stands, and the video. I just thought, if that had been David Wagner, like, will give us this incredible promotion out of nothing when there's no right to be there, and just because we've started the season badly, fuck off and get out.
No, some of them really seem to hate him. The tide is definitely turned. When we spoke to a Luton fan before that game, they want him gone.
Yeah, so he played at he played for like Watford, but I mean that seems to be coming back to it. But I just think that's a game that it's not a game that's on early doors. But I'd like to have seen that. It's almost like one of those sick things.
That's the problem with Sky announcing the fixtures so early. This is the one they wanted on telly. This is the loser leaves town game, and we all want to watch it, but we're not going to get to see it.
Tomorrow,
how would you?
Plymouth Watford tomorrow. Who cares about that?
No.
I'm obsessed out there with Wayne Rooney out there. Get him on.
Yeah. What would you? How do you think it'd go down? I can't think of a situation in which at Leeds United, not off the top of my head, where a manager's openly criticised the fans. How do you think it'd go down? Because he's done it at Hull, and obviously he's still in a job. If he started to criticise like he did, I don't know. I think I'd be done straight off the bat, to be honest.
You know what, Joe? I just think, I don't know. I think the country's in a weird place at the moment, England. It's in a weird place. Like, there's a lot of dissent. Part of me thinks there's something going to boil over, like, next year. So, I know it's like, stay with me on this one, but it's like, obviously got the farmers and they've got the, the people, the heating benefits and stuff. So you've got a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, and people come to these games, and I just think shoving it out on that pitch. Yeah, it's always maybe being vitriol, but I can't believe some of the stuff where you're seeing people getting abused and slaughtered. You're hang on a minute, mate. Like, just Edwards, you got Premier League. It doesn't be anything. It's like people just want to get it out, and it's not a good place. I don't think some of the grounds at the moment. But obviously, people paying big money and they're entitled to. But you probably see it a lot, Joe, in like maybe some of your kind of feedback and stuff. It's black and white now, isn't it? And
they say it's a reflection on society, don't they? Sometimes football fandom, like if you look back in time.
So people are not bothered about what someone did like last month. It's like we lost, or today's been shit, and it's
what have you done for me lately? Yeah. And you know what, Kosi, I did a video about 3 years ago where I said this country's on its ass. I'm leaving, and it is one of the best decisions. One of the best. There we go. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And actually, I don't take any joy in that because my family all still live in England and Scotland, and my friends. And I actually want to see things progressing and going really well. And it saddens me greatly when I read these stories. The things you just said, because I think are absolutely spot on. And it is a reflection. And unfortunately, people will use it as an opportunity to vent. It used to just be in the old days. Maybe you couldn't swear during the week because you were a teacher or whatever, so you'd swear on the terraces and you'd get it out that way. Nowadays, I think you're right. And actually, since lockdown, I thought it'd be very different. After lockdown, I thought people would be so relieved to get back to normality. We'd all be almost a bit like peace and love. It's great to see you again. It hasn't been like that. Hasn't been like that at all. There's been more animosity, more violence, more aggression. Maybe it was almost like a reset, but I think you're right. I do think it will boil over in a sort of grander scheme in a much more serious conversation for another day.
Yeah, we're a whistle-stop tour here of managers, but Paul Heckingbottom's done nothing at Preston, and the fans are. I just wonder this year maybe whether it's. I didn't have them as relegation candidates, but is this the year Preston down there? Form's absolutely dire. They're playing Derby on Saturday.
Preston will never go down. They'll always finish mid-table in the Championship.
Stuart McCall will always look same age as he did 20 years.
Falling off of that bloody car.
Unbelievable. But no, I met him last year. The year before in Harrogate when he was like on a random night out, and he's very confident and assured guy. But obviously at that time, Sheffield United had just gone up, mate. So he was looking forward to the Premier League. And I remember there was that season when Warnock and we played in that last game, and we got stayed up and what have you. But he's having to rebuild really. He bided his time to get back in, but I just wasn't sure if that was a good fit. Because Peter Ridsdale's still there, isn't he? At Preston, and their fan base is unhappy, man.
Can't stand that, man.
Hey, Joe, that was a nice message. Bring that back up.
It was. It was just saying
happy birthday.
Yeah. Richo says, "Evening, Joe, panel and chat. Celebrate my 66th birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Richo. Regular watcher. Going into retirement. More time to see my beloved Everton home and away. Win to Bournemouth Saturday. Come on, you Blues," he says.
I'd like to ask Richard what he's thinking about this move to the stadium, because that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Kosi, do you know how this works? Like, he can't actually answer you right. He's going to have to type quite a long answer.
Yeah, but it's like when you lose a stadium and that. So obviously, you two guys have been in yours forever, but when we left ours, it was like quite sad. But Everton,
that was ages ago, Kosi. That was in the early 90s.
Everton needs a reboot, though, mate. I think that'd be a good thing then. It looks quite cool, doesn't it, that stadium? A little bit different. I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
I've seen it across. I was in Wallasey for a wedding once, and you can see it across. Will it be the Mersey in Wallasey or not? I don't know. I'm not good with geography at all.
Yeah, birthday, retirement, it's all happening, mate. But then,
well, he's a fellow. I guess he's a Sagittarius because my birthday's in 4 days, and I'm a Sagittarian. So I guess
you're 66th as well. Are you retiring?
Yeah, my hygienist says I won't. Lex 50 at this rate with my teeth, so I've got to get my electric toothbrush out. So I'll give you an update next week how I'm going. Hopefully, I'll be better teeth.
Yeah, on that, because it is my birthday, I won't be here next week. And after hearing what Kosi's bringing to the table, I'm very pleased.
I'll get Ash to iron shirts, mate. Put that in his ironing for his next game, mate.
What do What do you have planned for your birthday, Hal? Anything?
Oh, we're going away. We're going to Paphos for a little break, which will be really nice. Staying in a hotel, and a lot of football to watch as well. There's 3 games for United, and I'm going to all the games for my local Cypriot team as well. I've got the minibus organised for Sunday. It'll be absolute carnage.
Absolute carnage.
Yours are always the weird ones after international breaks. I know you're still honoured by what happened in the last season, but it's like they're just proper mid-table team, but they could just turn it on, couldn't they? But what kind of leads is going to come out there on Sunday?
We've got to win. We've got to win. I keep having this sort of like conundrum with the striker position. Look, any drop points with this Leeds United side in this league this year and how people feel towards Farke, it's almost like there's a crisis. We've only lost once in 10. It can be quite frustrating because I find that because I'm quite a supporter of Farke, when we do drop points, I'm the lightning rod for it. My comments just absolutely come for me and they're like, hey, shit. I'm like, look, I'm not Farke. Like, chill out. Do you know what I mean? I get it quite rough, to be honest. So, not that I'm complaining. It is what it is. It's part of the territory. But yeah, I just think.
I just did answer to your question, Joe. I'm hoping to have it quite rough over my birthday. So,
and you got Luton. So if they make that switch, Joe, then obviously, or if maybe we beat all it, that should be.
I think, Kosi, to be bold, I think we'll be comfortably in top 2. I don't want to say top because Sheffield United could get some results, but I think we'll be comfortably in top 2 for Christmas, and then there's a real opportunity to start pulling away into New Year and stuff, depending on how January goes. And we should, and I don't think people call me arrogant. People say, yeah, you always take teams lightly. I think we're okay to do that with the squad that we should be doing that, man. Let's not beat around the bush. The squad's very good, and Ramazani could be back, and we've missed him. Yeah, so I think we'll beat Swansea. They're the lowest scorers in the division. We're good defensively. Pirro scored twice against them last season.
We'll want to score against his old team again. You're right. You will beat Swansea. I'm very confident of that, which is also why we need to not slip up against Coventry.
Yeah, because am I right in saying if either of you slip up, we can pass you? There's only 2 points, right?
Yeah, and of course, let's not forget we've had 2 points deducted. So let's not forget where we should really be.
Well, if you hadn't cheated, you wouldn't have had them deducted.
We've been over this before. It wasn't cheating. Money was promised from an investor who then pulled out. You cannot legislate for when people don't keep their word.
I think you need more than 2, to be honest, Hal. I think 2's derisory.
2's enough. Yeah, you reckon it should have been a bigger punishment. It didn't even happen last season in the Championship. It affected the Premier League, so it shouldn't have even come in this season. It's an absolute disgrace. Should have come in last season.
You'd have done what Leicester did, man, and get the lawyers on it. They don't even get any points. They
haven't got the money for the lawyers.
No.
Al, you've got 2 nice games. That I think Coventry and Oxford. I think you get all 6 on them, mate.
You might be right, Kosi, but it depends, doesn't it? If we have a shock and lose to Cov, we'll all be like, oh, blooming heck. And then it's how you respond in a match that you then have to win against Oxford. So it really does depend. And also, if you hammer Coventry, they might stroll into a home match against Oxford thinking we just need to turn up. So I think there's 2 potential banana skins.
I think Coventry will be tough. I do. I think you might draw it if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, my opinion is 1-1. Exactly what I said in our preview.
Yeah, I think it'll be 1-1. And then I think Sunderland get beat 1-0. We hopefully win 2-0, and then we'll be top.
And we've got Sunderland
a
week Friday.
Shite. They're not shite. Their manager's shite, sorry, should I say. They create absolutely nothing. And I think if they had some... Again, they were going to go for Rude in the summer. If they'd have gone for someone who likes to play expansive football. I just think Company and him are so far removed. And they've just gone for someone who's... I mean, he's got history of getting teams out, but doing it a shit way. I think, he got Fulham up that time in the playoffs against Brentford, didn't he? Got Bournemouth up, but them teams should have gone up. They had a very good side, and I just think the competition will mean that Burnley will end up in the playoffs, and they'll probably win it. They'll probably shithouse it and win the playoffs 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So, but I don't rate Parker at all, Kosi. I don't. Never have.
No.
Any thoughts?
No, I'm weird, mate. I think I was surprised they thought he was a man, to do it. But to be fair, you didn't obviously when they beat you, but like you were And
Slipped, man. We slipped. Like Solomon slipped, and they were in, and they just. I don't know. A team like Burnley shouldn't be coming to Welham Road and sticking 11 men behind the ball. I don't think.
No,
if
you're
they
right.
want to go top two.
You should go toe to toe because you should be on paper
Yeah,
fairly even.
Same. Yeah.
But it's interesting though. You say that he got promotion with teams he should have got promotion with. You know, I went back down a little rabbit hole of looking through Coventry squads over the past few years to try and work out if Mark Robbins was hard done by or if he failed with really good squads. And when you look at the players that Coventry had over the past few years, and Gyökeres is no mug. You go what's his name at Tottenham, Maddison, and Gus Harmer and Callum O'Hare and Sheaf, and you think how have they not done it? Because they were a Premiership side, and then I remember when they got relegated at Tottenham, Coventry fan holding up a sign saying we'll be back. Well, they haven't been since what 96, 97, something like that. And they've not even come close. And I look back at some of these squads and think they should have come far more than close. In fact, they were in League One with Joe Cole, and still, I can't believe it. How do they not do it? So,
tell you what, the worst signs. Forget all that. We'll be back. Give me my shirt. Give me your shirt. Piss off. They have them in Spain every match. It does my head in. And when they do eventually give the shirt to like, kid, give me a shirt. Camiseta. No way, mate. No way. It's bad, that, isn't it, Joe? It's crept into English football, that. I know it's only kids, but no,
if it's kids, I don't mind, man.
I don't mind either. I was at Peterborough away, and this guy came up to me, he must have been 20 years older than me, and he just said, hey, you're that one off YouTube. Can you get this to stop? This, can I have your shirt nonsense? Can you get it to stop? And I was thinking,
I want to meet that man.
Well, I was thinking, okay, fair enough, you don't like it, but how can I get that to stop? You also haven't asked me if I agree or disagree with it. You've just assumed I'm against it. I actually don't care.
No, neither do I, man.
It's international break. You see some stuff I saw. It was an old video. Leeds were playing at Accrington, and this guy just steamed up pitch and did a worm. Have you seen that, Joe? He did a worm on the pitch, and then stewards, he run on, and then the game were going on.
Wait a minute. Does a worm mean to you what it means to me? That kind of action?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Was it not against Salford? Or was it Accrington?
Yeah, he did say Accrington, but I was thinking, when was that?
Maybe it could have been Accrington. I'm not too sure.
Apparently, the stewards just chucked him back in the ground, so didn't kick him out, but yeah.
I tell you what was bad. I don't mind the players' shirt thing. For me, it's like if you want my honest opinion, stop shouting at clouds, Kosi. It ain't that deep. That's what I would say in response to that. It's very old man. But when players are running onto the pitch like we've seen in the World Cup, where they were like 4 people running up to Ronaldo and all that sort of stuff, that's also not safe, really, to be honest. Do you know when they run on and they take a picture and it's like, boom, wait till after, I think. But I would never be like, like if I took my son to the football and he said, can I do a sign? Like, Kosi, would you have sat him down and gone, no, you can't. Are you taking the bit? You'd be like, yeah, get your sign, son.
Yeah, because really you just
you're not taking that, son.
Because really you just want them to be interested, don't you?
Yeah.
And if they're interested in the club that you both support and they've got a little hero, you're not going to go, no. I don't think it matters. And you know what? If you want it to stop, Kosi, the players have just got to stop giving their shirts out. And then if everyone in the world agreed to that, it would stop.
Yeah.
But these kids are keeping them. It's not like autograph hunters who are like men in the 50s who are selling them on eBay. That's wrong. Yeah. But if it's a child that's going to cherish it forever and it means so much to them, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah. There was a clip last season. I can't remember where we played, but it was in the Premier League. Obviously, we were doing poor. And there was loads of little uns there, and they get off the bus and they all walk straight past them. And it made it on social media, and they came out and said, apologies and all that sort of stuff. It's bang out of order, man. It's not good. Like, if you take young uns to go, some of them are going. I mean, I think anyway, a lot of the people that are waiting are those that are only there for the day, so they don't have an opportunity to come again and all that sort of stuff, to see the players and the young. And I just think, just give them some fucking time, Yeah,
I agree. And actually, they're brilliant in Cyprus. All the clubs, they're really good with the kids. After every game, the players come over and they'll chat, they'll sign autographs, they'll give out the shirts. It's fantastic.
You don't know when you've lost and stuff. I'm thinking I'm a player. We expect them to like go to those fans, but like we were going about back a bit ago, the hatred and the vitriol. Part of me wonders if I were a player and I'd worked my balls off and we'd lost 3-0 or 3-1 or whatever, and you would have had a good game and get off and stuff. It's an awkward. It's expected to happen, isn't it? I mean, there were a team in Germany that got absolutely battered 5-0 and stood in front of the fans, and incredible. Like the ultras were proper, like cheering them and stuff.
Well, they do it in Italy, don't they? And all these other countries where they have to go and stand in front of the fans and get absolutely battered.
Yeah, it's just.
But
weird,
you're probably not going to give your shirt away after a game like that. I think it's all relative. Also, the thing about the shirts and the signs. No, the thing with the shirts and the signs, it's always after a game. So really, if you leave after the full-time whistle, you can kind of avoid it.
Yeah, right. Well, we've managed to fill 53 minutes.
We have, man. I love it though because it's just chewing the fat with people that you enjoy spending time with.
Do you know what I mean? Like England have had a good couple of wins, but like Thomas Tuchel's not even. How's he not started till next year? It's just the oddest thing ever, isn't it?
They should have made him. I don't know why. It almost feels like we've bended to his wishes.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's the English way, like we've said a little earlier.
Yeah, exactly. He's called the shots kind of vibe, it feels like, genuinely.
I think we knew a German was going to call the shots, and actually, the FA probably went, "Ooh, I like that. Let's give it another 3K."
I follow a lot of Spanish stuff. I love Spanish football, and Joe Bellingham played England under-21s at Linear, which is like that. Just that sounds before Gibraltar. They played it with 0-0. I watched it with rubbish, but they're talking him going to Spain. But it's just like, is he that good?
He's not.
No, he don't look.
He's not.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think he's all that. I don't understand the clamouring. This talk of him going to Dortmund and stuff. It's like, hang on a minute.
Thing is, with international managers, you don't need to be good at certain aspects. You need to be good at one really key aspect, which is motivation. So I always think Neil Warnock would have been a very good international manager. I always think Neil with money was always a problem, but very good at motivating. That's why he was always good as like a fireman to come into a club that was in trouble, because he can get G the boys up. I think he'd have been very good as an international manager. You're not with them that often, so that sort of shtick kind of works every few months. I think that'd be ideal. And we'll have to see what Thomas Tuchel's like, because I don't know what his motivational skills are like. If you're a tactical wizard or someone who's a wheeler dealer, probably not for you.
You not think? And any thoughts on Job? Or did you miss that bit? I was like, why are you answering about a manager? You missed the Job bit, didn't you?
Job Bellingham?
Yeah.
It must be hard compared to your brother all the time and stuff.
Yeah, because I thought
never won that, wasn't it? But yeah.
Joe Bellingham going to Dortmund, the rumours and that, but don't follow in your brother's footsteps. Can't pave your own way. He's probably worth over 20 million already, and I can't believe Birmingham City let both of their own youngsters go so early in their career. I think they needed the money with Jude, but with Job, they could have kept hold of him for a bit longer.
Do you think he's all that?
Yeah, Sunderland fan who is my neighbour a few doors down thinks he's incredible. So I don't know, but I've got to take his word for it.
I don't think he's all that.
Joe, just one thing. I've just got Women's Champions League on the background, which reminded me. I thought it was brilliant that Leeds and York. They played at Ellen Road. Yeah. My friend were on loan to Leeds last year. So when she's back at Huddersfield, she plays for them, and it's like at Garth. I always thought it was kind of what's going on up there, like kind of thing. It's almost like feels disconnected from the men's team, and that also it made me really chuffed that happened. And 4,000, there might have been a lot of free tickets, whatever, but the 4,300 there, and the thrill, like you kind of heard some of the interviews, and I know the guy
were over the moon.
Social media, it's a good thing, but I just wish the stuff were like more connected. She's on a bit of a journey with women's football and Huddersfield, but it's like Huddersfield women and Huddersfield football. The men is totally far apart. It's just like getting kit and training gear and stuff. It's like it's just one big. You go abroad. Everything was one, but it's not in England.
I've been to see the women a couple of times. So obviously, I don't get to Leeds games anymore. My daughter likes football, so when they're on, I'll take her. We went down in Stockton the other week. This is a thing they play like on school pitches and that. It's all a bit mad. I watched them play Newcastle up in Gateshead. That was a little bit of a better quality. Newcastle have put quite a lot of money in now, though, so they've been promoted, haven't they? And then what's happened is when they played Middlesbrough, they've got a load of Newcastle cast-offs, so they're pretty decent. Leeds got beat, but
isn't it? It's like well done. Yeah.
But the first time we went, Kosi, we gets off the metro, We're walking round, and my daughter, Shani, 9 at the time, she went, "Oh, is that what the players came in?" I took a look at it and I went, "No." It was this clapped out minibus. Anyway, I walked around, and Dave, who goes regular, one of my mates, is a watcher of this. He went, "Oh yeah, no, that's what they came in, or they come in their own cars," and it blew my mind because you're right, it's just so far removed from the men's side.
At Sheffield United, well, she played for Sheffield United for last couple of seasons. Like, she was on the fringes. Like, she played under the 21s, never got into the main team. But honestly, Sheffield United do it absolutely brilliant, mate. They're easily the standout in Yorkshire. The social media they give the girls, they play all the games at Bramall Lane. Yeah, yep. Right. You know, the crowds, they're struggling this year. They've lost quite a few players, like kind of to other teams. But it's just like you look at the content that comes out of them, you're just thinking it's like equal. And it does my head in.
YouTube interviews, the lot. They do it really well. Yeah, it's good to see.
Where I look at Leeds had them in their ground, but it's still like it shouldn't be a Garfield. I know you can't play them all Ellen Road, but I just like to see a bit more connection. Obviously, it's poor Nagel talks.
It all comes down from on high. Sheffield United's owner brought women's sport into Saudi Arabia when he was Minister of Sport. Wow. You know, and that might sound like a small thing, but in a country where it wasn't always equal rights, you know, he's done his bit there. So no surprise that Sheffield United do it right. And actually, where I work in Cyprus, my very good friend Christina, her daughter plays for Apollon team in Limassol, and they take it very seriously. They do it properly. They play at really good pitches, and it's really great to see. And I want to see more of that. Maybe we'll get to a stage like it is in the States, where it's sort of on equal footing with the men's game as it should.
The WSL's getting there, right? Like that's in the top, but.
I think so, but it's just like, I just wish some attitudes would change. We've made it to 7 o'clock, guys. We've done so well. I thought.
Well done, Kosi.
It's about where we're going here.
I love it.
BBC Sport app to see what we could talk about.
I tell you what helps it though, because I know just to keep on that, having the women in FIFA helps because of the generation and all the, you're aware of players because of the computer game. So that's
a good point.
Thing, especially for the up-and-coming generation. Kosi, before we go, give us your score prediction for Huddersfield Charlton.
2-1 to Huddersfield, mate, in a freezing cold and not a thriller, but another win, hopefully, mate, for us.
Great stuff. We've had great numbers tonight as well. 280 folks on a game with just us free. So it was great.
It's the main ones, Joe. It's your superstars.
Yeah.
Don't forget to next week. Nightmare.
Yeah.
Watch your numbers plummet.
They will do, mate, I'm sure. Give us a score prediction for Hull. I think you said one for Hull. For Sheffield United, I think you said 1-1, didn't you?
Yeah, if it was me against Coventry, it'd be a very different story. But 1-1. And then while we got me, because we're playing Oxford and I won't speak to you again, I think we'll beat Oxford. And then I also won't be here for that massive Sunderland game. And that really is huge for Leeds. And it's huge for Sheffield United. And it will have a massive impact on the top two. And I think that Sunderland game will be really tight. So I'll also go draw there.
Yeah, nice. Leeds will be top. Let's have it. Leeds United beat Swansea 2-0, I think, quite comfortably.
3 wins, Leeds, Sheffield. I think all 3 are going to do it, man. Well, that's Sheffield will get mad at Sheffield United.
Kosi, thank you. Don't forget to floss and invest in a table and then put your laptop on it and everything will be fine.
There we go.
125 quid for electric toothbrush. Jesus. And that's on offer.
I mean, that's too much. Mine wasn't that. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, mate. I'll come to you for the tips,
levels, mate.
I was going to say, you've gone straight in with Champions League there.
No, to be honest, they took one look at your teeth and went, look, we can't mess about here.
You would have appalled, mate. You know, when they're reading stuff out, they're like, bleeding, this and that. It's shocking. But you wouldn't know it. They look good here, but she says in a few years they'll be gone. So
that's why you don't put a big light on, isn't it? That's why you don't put a big light on. We got bleeding gums Murphy over here.
I know, we're playing Solihull next week.
Love it. On that note, folks, we'll leave it there. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.